Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Bienvenido. That was gorgeous. That was Psalm 4, Let Your Face Shine Upon Us, arranged by Dimitri Vadelas. So, welcome, everybody, to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Rev.Frances Lorenz, and it's my delight to welcome you. We have a really nice crowd today. It keeps growing. Isn't that great? Yeah. Yay. So, and those of you who are still watching at home, and we want to welcome all of our newcomers today. If you are here for the first time, we'd love to recognize you if you'd be willing to stand for us. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I know it's scary. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And we have coffee for the first time. So isn't that great? Thank you, Ron. And we have children for the first time, and that's going to happen at 11 o'clock. That's when we have our youth and family service. So we're reintroducing all these things lately. So that's good. So I want to introduce our musicians. They are Terry O'Hara on the piano. Our guest musician is Christina Brewer. And on platform with me is my husband, Mario Lorenz. He hasn't been here in such a long time because he's been counting people for COVID at the back of the sanctuary, so we're glad he's back on platform as a practitioner. And we have Reverend Matthew Brack, who is going to be leading us in a meditation. And we're going to start with the opening prayer from Mario, followed by a meditation from Matthew, and then our opening song.
Yeah, that's me. I had to dust this off. It hasn't been out for a while. So let us know that, wow, where we are right here, right now, we are in the presence of God. Let us know that we are completely immersed in that understanding. We are. So I just recognize that there is one source, one God, one presence, one understanding, one cosmic completion, one God. And we are in that presence right now, right here and right now. And I know that I am in that presence as well as everybody in the sound of my voice in the sanctuary here. We are recognizing that, you know what, there's no place to go, there's nothing to become, there's nobody to seek or anything else. You are here, we are here, right here and right now is the important moment in time. We know that there's nothing else to do except to accept the understanding of God as he immerses himself in our presence, and likewise we do him and her. For we know that it is a universal God. It is not one thing, one man, one woman. It is only that presence which we are complete and understanding that we are part of. So I give my thanks for this service, and I know that Rev.Frances has the right words at the right time and that she knows exactly what is coming forth. I speak my word for the calm understanding of that presence, and I know that the musicians are present and singing their hearts out. And I think I'll stop now. I give thanks right here and right now for everyone that is present. And so it is.
Good morning. Thank you, Mario. Well, I'd like to start meditation this morning in a little bit of a different way. I went out to dinner with a dear friend last night, and we have all these metaphysical and quantum physics talks. It's amazing. And we were talking about aggressors in the world and what can we do on an individual and collective level to really begin to just shift it. And we talked about the pattern of when somebody's in pain and they come at you with an aggressive attitude. I think my microphone might be gone. Okay. All right. When somebody's in pain, they can act in an aggressive manner. And one of the greatest things you can do is to disengage from them on that level of vibration, because that takes the power out of the aggression. It just means that you approach them from a higher frequency, a higher spiritual vibration. And it just kind of stops the process without us needing to fight back on that level. There's no fighting necessary. It's a way of meeting them where they're at with a higher frequency, and it's the frequency of universal love. The most intelligent, beautiful, giving love of any type of love, because that is what the universe is built on. That is how the divine expresses itself through everything. And that discussion went on, the conversation went on, and so I wanted to just bring that into meditation this morning and invite us to really focus on connecting with that deep and powerful love that is, it encompasses everything, and it is beyond the human idea of love. It is intelligence, it's creative. It's the kind of love that shifts circumstances in an instant. It clears obstacles. It's the type of love that when we send it, it fills the emptiness in people who are in pain and acting out. So this morning I want to focus our meditation in that direction. I invite you to place your feet flat on the earth. Take a deep breath with me. Allow your shoulders to drop. Allow yourself to become still and grounded as much as you can. And as we're breathing, we come into that still place. It's that place where we can rest. It's the ground of existence. This morning I invite you to meet yourself where you're at. And just be open and receptive to that beautiful, intelligent love that has created galaxies over billions of years, that has created rivers and mountains, that has removed every obstacle that was ever known. Just allow yourself to feel the presence. It knows you. It knows you so well that it is always there. So as we know this for ourselves this morning in this quiet and experience the ever-present intelligence, the nature of all being, Spirit, God, Source, divine, whatever you call it. Let's bring this love that we are feeling into our heart space. And just be. And this morning I invite us to collectively send this highest form of love to somewhere in the world, to somebody who needs to know that they are loved, that they can put their sword down and be met with grace. Because when we know we're loved and we feel that love, there's no reason to fight for anything in an aggressive manner from a place of lack and limitation. We can stand for what we believe in with confidence and grace. So this morning, together, let's just Send love out into all of the places on this planet that need it. Ukraine, Russia, the villages in Africa, all of the places that might be hurting. Just allow it to pour through you. You are the conduit for that divine love. And when enough of us do this, we help to lift all. So as you experience doing this, I invite you this week to move through your week from this place. Notice how it removes judgment. It allows things to flow beautifully and smoothly. It allows healing to take place. It reorganizes everything. Let's just breathe this in now. And thank you for taking this journey with me. And as we begin to come back to the room, I know that you feel grounded. You feel secure. You feel deeply loved. And you are able to be that love for everybody and everything. Opening our eyes, taking a deep breath. We are alive, we are renewed, we are restored. And may you be well, and so it is.
Understanding of the fact that my children are in the back room, and I welcome your prayers for my spouse who is in there with them. So they're very excited about having in-person children's services at the second service. So with that said, I'm going to take the microphone on this one.
That all my fears are limiting my potential. Said it's time to step into the light and use every bit of the power I have inside. So what you waiting on? Who you waiting for? If you don't take the chance, you'll never know what's in store. Just do you. Somebody's gotta be a star. Just do you. Somebody's got to raise the bar. Just do you. Somebody's got to change the game. Just do you today. Every mountain needs someone to climb it. Every ocean needs someone to dive in. Every dream needs someone to wish it. Every adventure needs someone to live it all. So what you waiting on? Who you waiting for? If you don't take the chance, you'll never know what's in store. Just do you. Somebody's gotta be a star. Just do you. Somebody's got to change the bar. Just do you. Somebody's got to change the game. Just do you today. If you create the game, then you create the rules. And if you just be you, there's no way you can lose. There's a story waiting for you to write it. There's a treasure waiting for you to find it. There's a picture waiting for you to paint it. There's a dollar waiting for you to make it all. So what you waiting on? Who you waiting for? If you don't take the chance, you'll never know what's in store. Just do you. Somebody's gotta be a star. Just do you. Somebody's got to raise the bar. Just do you. Somebody's got to change the game. Just do you today.
Good morning, everybody.
Just do you. That's great. Okay. So a couple of announcements. One, Easter's coming on the 17th. Next week is Palm Sunday, and we have, next week is Palm Sunday, and we have our traditional rose ceremony. Instead of getting palms, we give out roses. So be sure and be here for our Palm Sunday service. I want to let Matthew come up and talk about the next gardening experience. So here he is.
Next Sunday, after second service, we're going to be working on our grounds. So anybody's invited. We'll probably spend about 2 hours out there, so you can come for as long as you want. I would invite you to bring a lunch. Huh? Oh, grounds, our yard, our landscaping. We're working on, I guess it is our crown. It's our, yeah. So we want to get this place in order outside. We've done some improvements, and we want to bring all those back to life and begin cultivating the soil and doing some weeding and edging. And so you're welcome to come. If you come for a half hour, that's fine. If you come for 2 hours, that's fine. We're also going to be scheduling another one of these probably later in the month. I would think the last Sunday. And just keep this thing going. So hope to see you next Sunday after second service. If you want to go have lunch and come back, you can do that, or you can bring something with you. It's a lot of fun. We get to spend time outside together and talk and bring our skill sets. So thank you. I hope to see you next Sunday.
And of course, this month is Earth Month, all month long, so that would be contributing to it. So we are going to be offering a totally revised, very exciting version of our basic class, which has been called Foundations. Home office rewrote the class, but we felt like it wasn't quite long enough. So it's going to be 7 weeks online with Bev Holland, starting Monday nights, May 2nd. And it'll go for 7 weeks, and it includes a forgiveness workshop that's offered on June 11th that Matthew and I are going to be conducting. And I don't know, the process we're going to teach in that workshop is transformative. I still have people coming up to me years later saying how that forgiveness workshop changed their lives. So that's one of the lessons that is part of the core curriculum of Science of Mind. So if you are interested, we'll probably have it up on the website later this week. And if you want to refresh, this is a really good way to do it. I remember Mario took our basic class 7 times or something like that. People like to take it over because you relearn the basics. It's our teaching's simple, yet it's pretty involved if you really go deeply into it. So we invite you to take this opportunity to really learn the principles and take the class that starts May 2nd. And it's totally revised. I think it's going to be a very exciting curriculum. So, all right. So those are the announcements. And we're going to move into Be in Your Blessing.
May there's more you want to give me than I've ever known before. More of your goodness, more of your power than I've ever asked you for. Spirit, I come, I'm asking you now. Won't you pour out your favor? Oh, I'm calling out. I want to be in your blessing. What I seek is what you'll do in me and through me to bring glory to you. I want to be in your blessing. Whatever you may have in store, I want to be in your blessing. Oh, oh. There will be times when I'm frightened and times when I'm amazed, where you're creating miracle moments. I'll need a heart that's full of faith. Whatever comes, wherever you lead, all that I want is what you want for me. I want to be in your blessing. What I seek is what you'll do in me and through me to bring glory to you. I want to be in your blessing. Whatever you may have in store, I want to be in your blessing, Lord. As you lead me, please protect me and keep me from evil along the way. Don't let me forget I need you every step of every day. I want to be in your blessing. What I seek is what you'll do in me and through me to bring glory to you. I want to be in your blessing. Whatever you may have in store, I want to be in your blessing. I want to be in your blessing. Oh, I want to be in your blessing. More of your goodness, God. More of your power, God. In your blessing.
So that's the prayer of Jabez, which goes like, expand my territory. And what is more creative than that? To just say to God, yeah, expand my territory. I'm ready. I want to be more creative. I want to grow. I want to do more in my life. So, can you believe it's April already? I can't. So, the message today is opening the floodgates of good. And it's about getting into the theme of creativity this month. Last night I got to go to a celebration the Tacoma Historical Society was putting on to celebrate the creation of the Salishan community. How many of you know the east side of Tacoma? Yeah. Well, when I first came to this church, that area of Tacoma was totally impoverished. It was full of, I guess in the 40s during World War II, there were workers that came here to work at Boeing and other plants for the war effort. as well as military personnel that came here. And they built all those barracks, and they were just all over 200 acres of barracks. And of course, by the year 2000, they were getting pretty ramshackle, beginning to fall down. And I knew a very exciting, wonderful pastor from the east side named Ron Vignette, who would go up and down. He knew the whole east side, and he had a food pantry that he operated out of his house. And anyway, it was quite a needy area. And one of our church members, Brian Ebersole, had appointed an incredible judge named Stan Rumbaugh to the court, and he later joined the board of directors or commissioners of the Tacoma Housing Authority. And they looked at what they could do in Tacoma that would be really creative. And one of the things that they thought they could do would be to totally restore the Saloshan area. So that was a dream, and what a challenge, 200 acres of barracks. And so fortunately, thanks to Norm Dix, our congressman, who was head of the Appropriations Committee, how convenient, you know. So he somehow engineered these Hope 6 grants for communities that wanted to bring housing about. I tell you this because we always talk about homelessness and we never talk about the things that have been accomplished to create housing for people. And so the federal grant was $36 million, and the board of the Housing Authority hired Michael Mira. And he was just an attorney. He described himself last night as just an advocate. He said, I don't know how to raise money. I didn't have any administrative skills. All I knew how to do was advocate. Was go around and say, this is a really good project. Will you support me? And he did that. He did that with the Mayor Strickland, who was there last night. She's now our congressperson. And they got $36 million. And somehow, through his advocacy, converted that into $300 million and took those 200 acres and transformed it into new housing for people. Plus, they trained the individuals that were going to take over those homes how to get their lives back. It was a very inspirational evening, and it shows how. And Mira never gave up. He persisted in that vision and in that advocacy. So you got all these investors to invest in that project, and lo and behold, it's the largest housing project that was ever built west of the Mississippi, right here in Tacoma. So that's very inspirational to me. And it shows how when you have a creative idea and you really stick to it, you can accomplish amazing things without even being qualified. I mean, he didn't even view himself as being qualified to do it. He just believed in it. Joel Goldsmith, who wrote a little book we use in prac studies, Practicing the Present, says, there's only one power, and God is that power. There's no power in effect. There's no power apart from God. And this is the truth we need to embrace if we're to open the floodgates of good. We have to remember that one source is present, and that it's not God and the planets and the solar system, or God and my dog, or God and this body. The truth is, it's the planets, the solar system, God is my dog, and God is this body. And so the recognition that there's only God, that's the jumping off point, I think, for all spiritual work, and especially for great creativity. Rumi says, you're not a drop of water in the ocean, but rather the entire ocean is a drop. And Ernest Holmes said, our reality, our spirit, is a share of the universal presence. So one of the best little books that I really love is Ernest Holmes' very first book. It's only got about 100 pages. It's tiny. And it was written in 1918, almost a decade before he wrote his masterwork. But it's called Creative Mind. Creative Mind. And he tried to explain how each person has to discover how he or she stands in the midst of this eternal creative process, which presses itself around us and then casts back to us glorified everything that we think. That's exciting. It's also scary, isn't it? If you track how you think sometimes. In the beginning, God. That's how he starts his book. The Spirit was all there is. And from the Word comes forth everything that appears. So it expresses what it feels it to be: beauty, form, color, life, love, and power. Because the Spirit wants to enjoy itself. So the Word is the interactivity that comes first in the creative process. In other words, it starts with thought. And if we wish to prove this power in our lives, we shouldn't look out here at effects, but to the Word alone. And this unseen law controls everything. And the Word always, again, comes first in the creative process. Ernest Holmes said we need to learn how to use the Word so that everything will come, so every person will come to see how they are creators within themselves. Neuroscientists talk about the plasticity of the brain, but Ernest Holmes said over 100 years ago, so plastic is the mind, so receptive, that the slightest thought makes an impression on it. People think many kinds of thought, and if they're all confused, they can expect to receive a confused manifestation in their lives. So if a gardener has 1,000 seeds and tosses them out in the soil, he'll get 1,000 different kinds of plants. And it's the same in mind. Spirit creates through the law, and the law is always mind in action. And so it takes focus and persistence, just like Michael Mira had in Salasham. So I had a student that used to pray, God is all there is, and then he'd say Giati as an acronym abbreviation of God is all there is. And that was the way he treated. That's the way he prayed. Which is a wonderful recognition statement, but it's got something missing. What do you suppose that is? Well, since God is all, God is also in me. Sometimes we forget that. We forget that God is all around us and everywhere present and all powerful and omnipotent, but we forget to add, God is in me. So then the step 3 of our prayer, which we call treatment, is to just state what we desire affirmatively. And that means in the present tense, and as if it's already happened. I now have. So I have amazing abundance. Income comes to me from all sources. And then you give thanks and release it into the law. That's a pretty simple way of praying. It's 5 steps, starting with Giati, God is all there is, but then God is also in me and we're one. That's the part we often leave out. So Jesus said, I and my Father are one. He got it. Look at what he could create. And he also said, greater works than I've done, you can do. So creative mind can't force itself upon us because we do have the power of self-choice. Why am I sick? Why am I poor? The answer is this, Holmes, is our own mouths. Well, you think and mind produces the thing. So, but simply just holding a thought doesn't do anything because you have to know it. You have to know it. And so when we have the right attitude of mind and then believe we already have it, the reward will come. So, and then Holmes said, there'll be a time when we don't have to even demonstrate at all because we're living so close to the law. It will just do everything for us without even thinking about it. We don't even have to work hard. We just have to turn it over. So the creative mind is what we get to use all the time. So if you want to demonstrate health, then talk about it and see it everywhere. And Holmes said that an emancipated soul knows that it's already one with spirit. So the one mind knows its own ability to make whatever is given it. We're surrounded by this all-seeing, all-knowing mind. And we're not really dealing with a negative or positive power, but we're dealing with our own thought. Whatever we think over time becomes the command to that spiritual law. So it responds to our thought. It doesn't judge whether your thought is bad or good. It just receives what you want, or it takes it as a request and delivers it. So simply holding a thought, jyati, like God is everything, God is all there is, but doesn't do it. It's knowing that we're one with that power and presence, and when we are, we can know and accomplish anything. So when we wake up to the fact that we are one in nature with God, we're going to experience that amazing flow of goodness in our life. And the best way to arrive at high consciousness is to have faith in the ability of life to do everything for us by working through us. So if an emancipated soul knows that it's already one with spirit. So imagine a big storm coming up over Columbus, Ohio. This story is from a teacher who experienced this, Phyllis Mendel. And a radio comes on and says, there's a tornado warning. So all the children are taken down to the basement and they huddle together in fear. And so to help with the tension, the principal starts a sing-along, but the voices are so weak and without any enthusiasm, and child after child begins to cry. And a teacher whispers to a child next to her, aren't you forgetting something, Kathy? And she said, there is a power greater than the storm out there. God is with us. Just pass the word on. And so that child whispered to another. And soon, a great sense of peace settled over the group. And the wind outside blew with fury and the same ferocity, but it didn't seem to matter. And after a while, the all-clear signal came and everyone returned to their classrooms calmly. I used to be a school principal. You always knew when a storm was coming because the kids would go wild because the humidity drops and they just become like animals. They're just crazy. So you can imagine how they walked to their classrooms in total peace. So Phyllis Martin's faith in a higher power was equal to the emergency. In the Christ mind, what is it? Paul used to say, put on the Christ mind. Well, what is that? It's the Word of God, or the universal idea of oneness and wholeness and perfection. And we can put on that mind simply with our word. God is with you. Expand my territory. So, wanted to tell you another story. Ernest Holmes wrote a book called, it's not one that I even own. Maybe some of you own it. It's called Man's Divine Spark. And he wrote, we appear to have four-dimensional we appear to be four-dimensional beings passing through a three-dimensional experience. And one metaphysician wrote that a fourth dimension is actually the first dimension. It's spirit, pure spirit, or absolute intelligence from which the three-dimensional world proceeds. So when I recognize this power in the universe, I am identifying with wholeness and happiness and truth. And if we have a small idea of life, we will do small things. As I said before, the creative series begins with the word. I'm going to recreate Salishan. It's a done deal. This whole community will be totally restored, or is now totally restored. So in The Art of Living, Holmes tells a story of a client he had, and she was a piano teacher. And being a student of spiritual principles, she couldn't understand why she couldn't demonstrate students simply through the channel of her chosen profession. So she was always saying, God is all there is, God is the only mind there is, God is the only presence there is. And she thought that speaking abstract statements would give her definite results, and no greater mistake could be made. We have to always connect the law with what we're doing, something practical, something you're actually doing in your own life. So Ernest Holmes worked with her to think in this way. I have a service to render. My business is to teach piano. And whatever needs my service, whomever I can personally benefit, those who I can aid in this art are irresistibly drawn to me. And Holmes taught the piano teacher to live in the expectancy that wherever she went, she would meet people that would need her services and would be glad to compensate her for it. So this is called creating a mental equivalent, a way of saying you need to identify your mind and embody in your heart what you desire to experience. So he told her that her belief in the infinite was correct. Her statement about God was correct, but she hadn't joined heaven and earth. Don't you love that? I love that, because that will get you maybe to remember to always include yourself in the oneness with God. A few months after starting to practice these ideas, the woman would meet pupils at parties, in the theater, on the street. Friends would remember she was a piano teacher and start referring pupils to her. So if you want to open the floodgate of good in your life, just jot down on the program something you want to bring about. And then just know that we are sending this word out. That's your desired end, and the law of good will open the floodgates, and that will be provided. So we can't sit in the midst of our lives and direct all our activities. There's no struggle. All we have to do is know. We must awaken with this consciousness of an emancipated soul and use our God-given power. And since mind must create out of itself, and the self is limitless, it follows that the creative power we possess is limitless. So we can open the floodgates of good simply by speaking for our desired good. In the beginning was the Word, and creation comes into being. God bless you all. Thank you.
thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. My thoughts are prayers, and I am always praying. My thoughts are prayers. Be careful what I'm saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. Go to Mama. And every thought becomes a prayer. My thoughts are prayers, and I am always praying. My thoughts are prayers. Be careful what I'm saying. Seek a higher consciousness and a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there, and know that our thoughts become prayers. Yes, our thoughts become prayers. Every thought.
So it's time for our offering. If the ushers would come forward, and we'd like to say the blessing in your program. So together we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
The music that I'm going to play is entitled Memorare. It is a 15th century prayer for the Virgin Mary, and it was set to music for the Philippine Madrigal Singers by a Filipino composer, John Pamintuan. So I hope we'll be able to capture how the Philippine Madrigal Singers sing with this by an arrangement for clarinet and piano by Dimitri Varelas.
madrigal choir came in. That was so beautiful. Thank you. So, where are we? We have a healing prayer. All right.
Well, I think you should give another a round of applause. That put me in a different place. That was really transcending. In fact, all the music today has been pretty profound. And if you're new, we do this every Sunday. So keep in mind and put in mind and take in mind and put your mind at a place where you have a desire, you have a thing you want, you have something to seek and perhaps to try to find. Whether it's an illness, whether it's a job, whether it's finances, whether it's a family member. And just look at that at this time and see it. See it in the presence. See it moving. See it taking its flight into resolution. See with me that which is perhaps we thought at one time was impossible. Let us know that it is really in the realm of the possibilities, of that which is done. If it's a family member that needs healing, let us know that it is complete at this time. Let us know that truly we are in that presence of God where all things are possible. And just like the children can speak and do, so can we. So then turn it over. Take this moment and just turn it over to God. Turn it over to that presence which is beyond whatever we imagine, and then it is also part of who we are. So let us know that we are truly in that presence, and that is where we live and move and have our acceptance and our being today. And that's what I would call a mental equivalent. And I give great thanks for this service today, and for Rev.Frances, for the musicians, and for being back on the platform. And so it is. Thank you, God.
You'll shout when it.
Hold up. Okay,
You'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed. Yes, you'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed. When the Spirit moves you, you'll shout hallelujah. When it hits you, you'll holler, yes indeed.
I feel like Mario should have his trumpet right now.
You'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed. Yes, you'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed. When the Spirit moves you, you'll shout hallelujah. When it hits you, you'll holler, yes indeed.
See you next week. we've got some coffee if you'd like to stay a little bit and have a cup of coffee. And God bless you all. Have a great week.